There is a huge difference between spending time and investing time. If you've ever felt like a guy was just spending time with you but wasn't really investing in the future, or if you've ever felt like you were just spending your time in a dead-end job that really wasn't going anywhere, or if you've ever felt like you were just spending your time in a relationship that had felt like it was over many, many years ago or even months ago, maybe you know what this concept means. So spending time is just checking a box. Spending money on things that don't really matter is also just checking a box. I mean, how many flat screen TVs do we really need, or expensive kitchen gadgets, or another pair of shoes that we'll probably only wear a few times? And the difference between spending time or money and investing time or money is how much we value ourselves. If we don't value ourselves or the other person in the relationship, we're going to be totally fine with coasting because we don't really care. We don't see the bigger vision for our life. We don't see the bigger vision with this person. But if we're investing our time and our money and ourselves because we value ourselves, it's because we believe in the bigness of our heart and the size of the love and the vision that we want to create for ourselves, for our life. So if you knew that you were capable of running your own business, making really good money, of having a family if you don't have a family yet, or having an amazing family if you do have a family but you want to change some things in your relationships. If you knew that you were capable of attracting a really high quality, successful man who totally treated you like a queen, and if you knew that you were also capable of having the body and the lifestyle and all of the things in your life that you wanted, why would you ever settle on spending time or money on things that aren't going to get you there? So I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but I want you to realize that there's a huge difference between spending time or money and investing time or money. Every time that we invest in ourselves as women with things that really matter, with things that actually transform us, it pays back tenfold. I mean, look how much people spend on education. They will spend $100,000, $200,000 on undergrad or grad school, and oftentimes they don't even use those skills when they get out of college. How many times have you gone on a shopping spree and spent maybe $500 or even more, and then you came back and you've tried the stuff on and you're like, oh, I don't know if I really like it that much, and then you forgot to take it back to the store and now it's just holding space in your closet. So every time as women that we want to get upset with that friend who's flaky or the guy who just doesn't seem to be prioritizing us, we need to take a look at ourselves. You know, everything in our life is a mirror. So what are the ways that you're not investing in yourself, not seeing your own value, not believing in the bigness of your dream? And what ways are you just spending time or spending money on things that are just a band-aid, that aren't really going to get below the surface for the deep transformation that I know that you are worthy of and that you deserve? We live in a time with so much information, so you could be spending your time or wasting your time reading through a million blogs, but that's not exactly what you need. You need a mentor and a support system and tools and someone who can hold you accountable with love and with inspiration, so you can be this woman of love, this badass that you've always wanted to be, this goddess of light, and this queen who really attracts a king and creates a great relationship. So the women that I've worked with that had the greatest struggle in committing and investing in themselves had been attracting unavailable men, or men who weren't committed to them, or men who were cheating on them at some point in the relationship. So if you're done with those patterns of narcissistic men, men who are cheating, men who aren't available emotionally or otherwise, then it's time for you to be available to yourself, to invest in yourself, and to take good care of yourself, knowing that you deserve the best. So I have seen women go from investing and working with me, and then all of a sudden get a new job that pays almost double what they were making before. I've seen women who weren't fulfilled in their job and then launched a nonprofit and got it funded. I've seen women who just got a raise without even really asking. They were in their office, their boss came by and said, you know, I realized that I never gave you a bonus last year and you're due for a promotion as well. They got a $10,000 raise. I've seen women whose ex-husband owed them money. They had been paying for his part of the rent when they were separated, hadn't heard from him, he wasn't willing to pay it. All of a sudden she gets her power back and her femininity, and he starts paying her back without her even asking. So you are magnetic, you are radiant, and you are capable of so much. But if I can be blunt, you've got to stop freaking wasting your time and your money on things that are not important. Invest your time and your money on things that are really going to change the dial, move the dial, and change your life for the sake of you and for the sake of everyone around you. Because if you have kids, they're watching, they're noticing, they're picking up on those behaviors. And so many women will use their kids as an excuse to hide behind. Like, well, my kids are my number one priority, so I really can't invest in myself. And you're right, if your kids are your number one priority, you shouldn't be spending, $600 on face creams, but you should be investing in yourself to become the sort of woman who attracts a healthy man and creates a healthy partnership. That doesn't happen just with a snap of fingers. We're not flying around on unicorns in the sky and then all of a sudden meet our partner and everything is great, especially if we've had decades of trauma or failed relationships. It takes staying grounded, tenacious, gritty, determined, and really invested in ourselves through our time, our money, and our heart. And the cool thing is when you do that, then you're around other women who value themselves enough to do the same, who are ready to put it all out there in order to attract a great partner. And when I say put it all out there, I don't mean that they're walking around feeling desperate. I mean that they're willing to take a risk on themselves because they believe in themselves and they believe in the bigness of the vision. And anytime you invest in yourself, it will always come back in huge, huge ways that can never be taken from you. Whereas you can lose a pair of earrings. You can, stop seeing a guy that was just kind of wasting time with you. When you invest in yourself and you get skills and tools and resources and support, that never goes away. So whether you work with me, whether you work with someone else, I want you to have the biggest, boldest, most passionate love life with a man who lights you up and treats you like a queen. In order for that to happen, you need to rise into your queen. And a queen takes care of her queendom. It doesn't mean that she hides behind the excuse of, well, I need to take care of my kids. Yes, your kids come first, but you are the role model for your kids. And oftentimes people will use their kids as an excuse to be a martyr. Like, well, I can't do it because of my kids. And then they mistakenly keep themselves in situations that are not good for their children. I feel super passionate about that because my mom stayed in a relationship with my dad that was abusive, and she would ask us, well, I know he's not a good dad, but do you think I should leave? And she was trying to be the good wife by staying, but there were some severe consequences of her staying with him for me growing up. And that's why I'm so passionate about doing this, is because I know from the inside out what it's like to be a child when one of the parents is abusive and the other parent is saying that they're just going to stick around for the kids. It's not a good idea. So I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I want you to know that you have choice, you have responsibility. So invest in yourself today. Mwah.